Greetings from Chicagoland. You're listening to Munira's Musings, where your host Munira will showcase new guests each week to share exciting details about the journey to their niches. As we like to say, the riches are in the niches. And on this show, we'll share ideas on how to break through our invisible boundaries so we can start taking steps towards our dreams and create the life that we most desire. If you're passionate about impacting lives, then this podcast will give you some great ideas and equip you with the tools to quickly grow your business. Okay, let's get started with today's show. Here's your host, Munira.
Greetings from Chicagoland. This is Munira coming to you live with another session with Krishna ji, our guest all the way from Bangalore, India. We are talking about Cialdini's principles of influence. And thank you for being here, Krishna ji. How are you?
I'm absolutely fine and delighted to speak to the audience and you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So, we have in the past talked about influence. So all of these principles have worked well with us, but now we are going to talk about scarcity. Now, scarcity, why is scarcity such an important pillar? And why does Cialdini talk about it so well in his book? So Krishna ji, tell us about the Cialdini, the scarcity principle.
Wonderful. Thank you so much and good morning to other part of the world and good evening here in India. What we started initially was basically about talking about how do you build a relationship using three principles. That's about the relationship of reciprocity, liking, and the unity. Then we moved to the next phase where to reduce the uncertainty, how do you use the principles of authority and the social proof there. And then we say there is a relationship, there is also uncertainty reduced, but how do you make people to take action? One principle last week that we discussed was on the consistency, but now this time we are talking about a scarcity as principle. If you look at it, people around the world, across the culture, people want more of what they can have is less scarce and unique, and which is diminishing there. And it is valuable and it attracts the people there. And they want more of what they can't have. So the way you communicate about your product or the services, if you tell them that you're going to lose something, that is going to actually motivate them to move forward. And that's the principle of scarcity, what we are talking about here.
And we see scarcity all the time because if you look at the influencers, they'll say, I have a mastermind group and there's only 15 spots available. The first come, first serve, and 15 spots will be filled pretty soon. So if you want a spot, sign up now. So that's what happens. And then there are some influencers who's going to say that I have a price of $349, and if you sign up right now, then you will get this price for I will hold this price for the first 100 people that sign up. The other time, once we have that slot filled up, we're going to raise the price to $549. So you save $200 if you take action now. So that's kind of the things that we are talking about, right?
Correct, absolutely. And this is basically throughout our life, we are scared of losing more than the gaining. And that's why we take action on that. When you say you're going to lose $200, then you're motivated to take action rather than saying that you're going to gain something there. So that's what we are talking about. And if you look at, I'm sure it happened in US, it happened in many places when the Apple was introducing their iPhones, and they purposely used to, or whatever, I don't know, but they used to do a short supply to the stores there. I believe there was a wonderful example. There was 25 people who were standing in the queue for a long time. And the 25th person was having a Louis Vuitton bag. And then the conversation started between two people, and he asked the 23rd person in the row to saying that I'll give you this Louis Vuitton bag. Can you give me that spot of 23rd? Then the interviewer and the journalists were surprised and say, how can you give a Louis Vuitton bag for a place that's and then I believe she said, look, I understand that this store has got a very minimum number of the Apple phones, and I don't want to miss that opportunity. That's why I'm exchanging this. That again shows that when you're scarce, you can go up to whatever extent it is there. That's how you'll find that.
So we understand that the other businesses, people like Apple and people like, the big giants have done it. So how can a little person like us use this principle in our business?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. But to state that, I would like to share one study which would definitely help people to understand how, by changing one word, single word, whatever we are talking in our series of so many things is about, you change a word, you change the sequence, you change the sentence, you change the phrase, you will be able to create a maximum impact. And what we are talking about is this does not require an investment, does not require so much of money or the effort or time. It's all about understanding this principle is what it happens. And because of that, I want to share you one case study. Just change of one single word made so much of difference. And I'll also tell you what happened on this. It's basically in North Carolina. There were homeowners who were there. The organization which was into this, they did one energy audit and saying that how much of insulation they need and how much of insulation, weather stripping they need to do for that home after the audit is done. One group of people, they went and said, if we did the audit, but if you do the recommendation, you would be able to save $1 per day. Okay, you'll be able to save $1 per day. But the other group of people which they went and said, we have done the audit for your home on the insulation. But what we see is that if you don't apply what we are saying, you're going to lose $1 per day. You're going to lose $1 per day. And the impact was that 150% of the poor people said yes to that request, because they felt that $1 per day is losing as good as $365 losing, and they didn't want to lose. And that's how I say, just one word, if you say that change of loss, if you say, it can create a lot of impact. Now, your question to what you're saying is that how do they implement? First thing is that today, after the session is over, they can go back and write down what is that the customer will lose if they don't buy their product or something, rather than what do they gain. We are all told about the advantages, benefits, and feature, but it's also important to say what is that you're going to lose if you don't use my product, and use this sentence in the communication saying that after your presentation, all that you're going to lose if you don't go here ahead with our product is 1, 2, 3 reasons you give, and that would definitely help them. But it should be genuine, is what I say. Yes, go ahead.
So basically, it's the way you communicate with people, right? It's all about communication and how you push urgency in other people's, in your business, right? Urgency is the word. Urgency and communication. So, and then what does the other person perceive? Now, can we take Apple's example and can we put that in our life? Yes, of course we can. Can we take this realtor's example and can we put that in our business? Of course we can, but we just have to figure out the wordings and what we are going to say to them and how we are going to say to them. So if you have a course coming up and you can say, I have, you will lose out on this many savings, but it's all means like whatever you are selling, it all depends on communication, right?
Yeah,
So,
it is not only about the number of seats or what you're talking about, or it could be of number of units which is available. That's one part. You can also, the customer, the business owners can think about what are the key features which they have, which are the key advantages which they have when they don't use their product, what are they going to do? It could be one feature, one benefit, or it could be a bundle of benefits that you can communicate to customer and say, all this, what you're going to lose is by not using this. That's how they can do that.
Okay, so then if somebody has a course on mindset, now there are 3 coaches on mindset. So what could they use? How could they use the scarcity principle? Because they're all using their tactics are different, their techniques are different, but their course study may be the same. So how can they use, what are the people who are not going to take their course lose out on? What are they going to lose out?
Oh, yeah, you can definitely say, as you said, it's only for 15 people. And if you don't join this, then you are going to get stuck in the same place for a long time. Your mindset to do something is not going to happen. That's one way of putting it on the number. But then the second one is that if you don't take this action right now, you will continue to struggle the same way what you continue to do. But it's good to take an action to avoid this struggle and avoid this frustration, avoid this the challenges that you have. And that's why it's important to take up. That's how you can communicate. And then you can also say the last one is that if you don't take the mindset coach from me, what you're going to lose is that the continuous support that I'm going to handhold you to ensure that you become successful. That you're going to miss from me is what you can tell them.
Right. So opportunities appear more valuable when they are rare, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
So then we try to take care of our clients in that way. So tell me, we have the study with the Realtor Association, but what else? And you've talked about the Apple study. What other studies are there that we can use in our daily life?
There was a nice case study. I think it happened everywhere, even in our city happened. There was a restaurant which said that was there for a long time, for about 30 years or something in the business. But one fine morning, they announced in the newspaper that it's going to be shut down on this particular day. And those who had a taste of that kind of food from that restaurant, on the last day of the restaurant, they had a huge sales. Now, this is basic. Of course, it was genuine there. And that's where what you can do is basically when you are in business or something, you can also make some of your features there. You can also make some benefits there. You can also say that if you have a last piece or last few seats, that's how you can also make people to do. But my only request is it should be ethical. What I mean by ethical is if you say that I have the last TV set for this rate, and once that is sold, you bring back another set at the same place. If you keep it, then you have lost your credibility on that. So my request is whenever you're thinking of scarcity, think of ethical persuasion. That's what I'm talking about.
So ethical persuasion. Okay, so then we know that the activators of scarcity are unique, rare, and availability, right? So your offer for business people who are on here listening, your offer should be a unique one. It should be rare, and it should have the availability so for people to buy it. But I've seen other influencers who say, the price of $347 is available for the first $100. We talked about this a few minutes ago. For the first 100 people that buy into this, and then afterwards the price will change. But then after maybe, there's no counter or nothing so that you can go look at it as to how many people have purchased. But if you go back maybe 2 days later and say, I want to purchase this, the price still stands. So that's what he's talking about is ethical availability. right? So then
Absolutely.
if it's not available, then it's not available. If you've got 15 slots for your coaching program and people have taken those 15 coaches, don't try to say that there's going to be a 16 spot. No, you say this program may open up next month. I'll put you on a waiting list and I will call you when the waiting list is open. Is that something
Yeah,
you can do?
absolutely. Yeah, you can do that, but as you say, you can't do the same thing again and again because then you lose your credibility over a period of time. In fact, I would also say, Munira, it is not only about the number of seats or number of things. There are some businesses which does huge business only because of the information that is there for sharing. For example, stock market, there are stock advisors who are there, and they get a very, very good or a key insight information. They will say, I will share you this, give me some, the service charges for this. And that's how it is not only about the units, it's not only about the features, even if it is the key information which is rare and it is exclusive, that can also make people to move to the direction, is what I'm saying.
Right. So then the amplifiers of scarcity is loss framing and then competition and exclusive
Yeah,
information. So
correct, correct.
let's talk about loss framing. What is loss framing?
As I said, the loss step is that communicate what loss they will have by not owning your product itself. That's a loss frame.
Okay. And then competition?
Competition is it's always good to have a competition, but what you're saying is competing for scarce resources or the opportunities is what you can talk about. When I say scarce resources or something, when you have a competition, you always say, compared to others, this is what you're going to lose if you don't get associated.
So the scarcity principle, how often should it be used?
Oh, it's wherever people are not taking the action. But if it is going to elevate the interest of both the parties, I think the scarcity principle should be used. If the person is not deciding at the moment because is delaying action, then you should use scarcity.
Okay, so then like we have the food industry, right? We look at the pizza industry right now. Domino's, Pizza Hut are the big influencers in the food industry right now. So they say for the limited time only, for like the month of February, we are going to do buy one get one free pizza, or buy one get a drink free or something. So every month, if you sit down and if you want to really understand, for the viewers out here, if you really want to understand the scarcity principle, you always want to look at the food industry because they have a new deal happening every single month. And you can say it's for limited time only.
Yeah, but every time when they announce, you see that the sales go up, isn't it? That's basically because the psychology works in that way that we don't want to lose. Okay, but once if there is a little bit of need which is there, then the scarcity principle, this advertisement and all that, make people to take that action. Okay, you would see the car makers who will put the last advertisement saying that December 31st is the last day for you to get this offer because the prices are going to go up. Is what they do. And I'm sure if you go to real estate guys, they will use this loss framing principle very nice. Today you book, it's about this much is the square feet rate. But if you don't take the action today, what is going to happen is that our prices are going to go up in the next couple of months or couple of days or something. So that makes people to do this. But only thing is what I'm saying is as long as it is genuine, it is good. Good to say that sentence which will make people to take action.
Okay. All right. So you've talked about infusing this in your business. What else do we need to tell our audience before we finish?
Yeah, one which I always say that there are points that all business people should make a list of things that what the customer is going to lose if they don't own the product, and that should be genuinely communicated to people. That's very good for them, which will help them to take a decision. That's what I'm saying. Okay, that's how the first point. And the second point, which I say, is that all seven principles, including the contract, is available, but it should be able to recognize to see what principle they will use to make people to take action. That's the idea which I'm saying.
So we've talked about each individual
Yeah.
pillar, principles, pillars.
Yeah.
We talked about consistency, social proof. We talked about authority. We talked about liking. We talked about reciprocity and unity. Today we are talking about scarcity. So what we are going to talk about next week is how to take all of these
Yeah.
and put it together. And we're going to say, we're going to show you how this book has created a buzz around the world. You know, we talked in the first session that when this book came out, Warren Buffett, who is 93 years old and one of the world's richest men, talked with Robert Cialdini and used some of his principles so that he could influence his staff. And what happened was he then gave Berkshire Hathaway's stock to Robert Cialdini, and that's kind of the stock to go for. But I'm not giving you stock advice, but I'm just saying what's written in the history books. So that's what happened. So if people like Warren Buffett could use this book and influence their staff, what's stopping you? So one of the things that we do is that we've given you a taste of all of these principles. Now we are offering you a program that you can join us to become either a practitioner and learn this yourself or come learn from ourselves. So if you're interested, either contact Krishna or contact me and talk to us about how this can work in your business, because it's not only for you. When you learn, your staff will learn, and it trickles down. And we want that trickle down effect to go through. So if that's something that you're interested in, give us a call back, because we're going to talk to you about this program and how that can work for you. On the other hand, next week, we're going to talk about how we can put all of this together, because you've got now different pieces. How can we put this together in a story form and then put this in effect and implement it into your business? What do you say, Krishnaji?
Absolutely. That's what our plan is. But what we say is that please do attend the next session. We have got some exciting offers for you. And that's going to be definitely on that particular day we will announce. And thank you so much is what I'd say.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. It was wonderful. Let's talk about all of the pillars next week. And that's going to be our final episode for Cialdini's. If you have any questions, go ahead, share, like, and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you next week. Until then, have a good week. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Munira's Musings. We hope that you found today's conversation inspiring and useful, so that you can continue making progress towards mastering your own niche. Please tune in next week for another episode, and in the meantime, you can follow us on social media at Munira's Musings on Facebook, and leave us a review wherever you're listening to podcasts. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.